It would be ideal if life never tempted you, if you could go through each day improvising and always making the right choices. But reality doesn't work that way. In the end, we end up making mistakes or doing things we regret later. Stoicism, in theory, is a philosophy, but in practice, it's a set of guidelines for living. The Stoics understood that life was complex and full of situations that would test our willpower. That's why they established rules to help us stay on the right path. In this video, I will talk about 11 Stoic principles that I have decided to follow to become the best version of myself. These 11 rules were formulated by Stoic philosophers over 2,000 years ago and have been useful to many people throughout history. I invite you to stay until the end to learn all the rules and apply them to your life. Before starting, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like. That way, you help me continue spreading this philosophy. If you're not subscribed, I recommend you do so and activate the notifications so you don't miss any videos. Rule 1. Master your mornings. One of the best moments in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations is when he reflects with himself at the beginning of Book 5. He knows he must get out of bed, but deeply yearns to stay under the warm blankets. It's easy to understand, but it's also impressive. Marcus Aurelius wasn't obligated to get up. In reality, he wasn't forced to do anything. Many emperors before him had delegated government tasks to focus solely on enjoying life surrounded by luxuries. However, Marcus Aurelius imposed on himself not to succumb to those temptations and took charge of his responsibilities from early on. Why did he wake up early? Because Marcus Aurelius knew that mastering the morning was key to mastering the day and succeeding in life. Although he never heard the phrase, "the early bird catches the worm," he was very aware that a well-begun day was a productive day. Personally, I do these 3 things to have a productive morning. Writing a journal. As soon as I wake up, I write down the things I need to do during the day and note a brief reflection on the previous day, where I jot down what I did well and what I did poorly to mentally prepare myself for what I need to improve. Writing a journal helps me create the morning habit and reflect on my life. It reminds me of what I need to do and how I should act. Exercise. It's not necessary to do high-intensity workouts. By exercising, I mean moving. Go for a walk, hit the gym, run, whatever it is, as long as it keeps you physically active. This will fully wake you up and put your mind at ease and ready for the third action. Focus on work. Once I've completed the 2 previous actions, I'm ready to concentrate on the task in front of me. I have a video where I go more in-depth about this rule. I'll leave it here for you. Rule 2. Focus on what is under your control. The Stoics insisted a lot on focusing on the things we can control and letting go of those we cannot manage. Understanding this will make you much more practical, and you'll waste less time worrying about things that aren't worth it. Once you grasp this, you'll avoid many frustrations and suffering and know what's worth focusing on to achieve the goals you set for yourself. A clear example is in sports. You control how you play, but you don't control if you win, if the opponent is respectful, or if the crowd cheers you on or not. Once you realize this and start focusing on your game instead of others, you'll probably improve your performance. Apply this to all situations in your life. Rule 3. Don't suffer over imaginary problems. In life, uncertainty will generate thoughts that make us suffer. This is entirely normal, but if we think carefully about it, most of the negative situations we imagine might happen never actually occur. In Seneca's words, "We are more frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Try to focus on the present and stay calm. It's likely that the terrible thing you're imagining won't happen after all. I'll leave a video here where I discuss this topic in more detail. Rule 4. Treat success and failure the same way. Marcus Aurelius had an interesting metaphor. He said that all men are like a rock. He would throw the rock into the air and say, "It gains nothing by going up nor loses anything by coming down. It remains the same rock." It doesn't matter if the day starts with a promotion or ends with a dismissal, you're still the same person. In fact, negative situations in life often teach us many things, so they have even more value than positive ones. Be grateful for everything that happens to you, whether good or bad, because regardless of what happens, you remain the same and you can learn from any situation. Rule 5. Do one thing every day. This rule shouldn't be applied literally. By doing one thing every day, I refer to 2 situations. The first is for people who live without goals. It's important to focus on achieving one goal each day, no matter how small it is. Living without goals turns a potentially extraordinary life into a mediocre one. The second is for people with many goals. Having big ambitions is not bad, but focus on advancing step by step. Focusing on too many things at once can make you lose sight of what really matters. With this rule, I invite you to at least strive to achieve one goal you set for yourself every day, whether it's something basic or very complex. Rule 6. Don't seek the easy path. Whenever you want to achieve something, remember that there is no easy path to getting it. In life, things that are worth it are achieved through effort. Think of any person you consider successful and read their biography. You'll see that everything they've achieved has been through hard work and discipline. In fact, that's the key to their success. Difficult paths forge your character, make you learn from your mistakes, and encourage you to persevere. The difference between those who achieve great goals and those who don't is their tolerance for effort and sacrifice. Anyone can choose the easy path, which is why very few always achieve what they set out to do. Rule 7. Ask yourself if it's necessary. Take a moment to reflect on the things you do in life. Ask yourself, is this that I'm doing necessary? You'll realize how many things we do and desire in our lives are entirely dispensable and how much time we waste on them. How do we know if what we're doing is necessary? Ask yourself why you do the things you do. Find a valuable reason, something that truly matters. If you can't find that valuable reason, what you're doing is unnecessary in your life. Rule 8. Love your fate. Things don't always go as we want. It's a fact of life. As Seneca said, fortune behaves as it pleases. His own life was proof of it. Health problems interrupted his political career. An emperor exiled him. He managed to return only to have it happen again. Almost everything was out of Seneca's control. The only part that depended on him was how he chose to view those events and what he decided to do with them. He chose to see them as something positive and decided to use them. Life will put you in good and bad situations, and it's up to you to decide how to face them, whether to look for the positive side of what happens or to constantly live in regret. Rule 9. Converse with the dead. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno of Citium, after losing all his wealth, visited the oracle seeking inspiration on what to do in the future. The oracle told him, "To live a good life, you must speak with the dead." The oracle was referring to reading. It invited Zeno to read the books of the philosophers who had lived before him. Reading is an incredible tool. It gives you the ability to read the thoughts and opinions of people who lived thousands of years ago. We live in a world where we constantly seek what's new, which makes us forget about the old. There's nothing wrong with new things that come up, but we must not forget the amount of vital knowledge written in books. We have the power to converse with the greatest minds of the past, who, with their experience, can guide and help us in our lives. The worst part is that millions of people around the world choose to reject this superpower. Take advantage of this. It has never been easier to access so much ancient knowledge as it is now, thanks to the internet. Rule 10. Be strict with yourself and understanding with others. It's important to remember that the Stoic has strict rules. We have firm opinions about what is right and what is not, but, and this is a big but, we must be understanding and indulgent with those who have been, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, led away from the truth. This is the key. Your rules are for you. This doesn't mean we allow people to act unjustly or wickedly, but we don't have to judge everyone who doesn't behave exactly as we want. In this case, the best thing we can do is lead by example. If you want to show someone they're acting incorrectly, strive to act correctly yourself and show them. It's the best way to impact someone and change their way of thinking. It may take time, but sooner or later, they will begin to imitate you. Rule 11. Remember that you die every day. In Seneca's words, this is our great mistake, to think that we look forward to death. The greater part of death has already passed. All the time that has passed is the property of death. It's easy to see death as something distant. We think of it as an event that will happen to us at some point in life, something stationary, no matter when it will happen. Every day we get closer to it, slowly or quickly, depending on our age and health. Seneca believed that this was a wrong way to think about death, a mistaken view that fostered many bad habits and a poorly lived life. On the contrary, he said that death was a process that was happening to us right now. We die every day. Even while you're watching this video, time is passing that you will never get back. That time, he said, belongs to death. Death is not in the distance. It's with us right now. It's the second hand of the clock. It's the sunset. When the arrow of time moves, death follows, claiming every moment that has passed. What should we do about it? The answer is to live. Live while you can, don't postpone anything, don't leave anything unfinished, and make the most of your time while it still belongs to you. What do you think of these Stoic rules? Would you add any others? I look forward to your response in the comments. Personally, I try to apply these rules in my life. Although it's not easy and I often forget, I try to write them down somewhere and remind myself. Stoicism is not an easy path. Just like life, it requires a lot of effort and discipline, but it's worth it. Here, I'll leave you 2 videos that I'm sure you'll like. See you next time.